Hey everyone, Shabby here and welcome back to another episode of SWE Universe Mode. This is Octane and we've got a cracking show set up here this evening with two debuts at SWE. It's going to be big, and of course the #1 contendership match in the main event as well. But we are going to start things off here this evening with a Tag Team Championship #1 contendership match. We're going to see Cesaro and Sheamus team up for the first time in this Universe Mode, taking on Enzo and Big Cass. And here we go then. Now, I must admit, when it came to this match, if you told me one of these tag teams would not be together, I would have probably pointed you at these two guys here, Cesaro and Sheamus. I'm surprised that Enzo and Cass are the ones split up, especially the way WWE, I don't know what it is, they had a really good tag division over the last couple of years. They really added a lot of very good teams to it, Enzo and Cass. I really like the Vaudevillains in NXT, but they didn't really transfer onto the main roster pretty well. You got American Alpha, really good as well. And one by one over the last few months, they've split up so many tag teams. It's unbelievable. So American Alpha are now split, obviously, because of one of the worst storylines WWE have put out for the last 10 years. We've got the Hype Bros on the verge of breaking up. We've seen, obviously, the Vaudevillains split up because Simon Gotch has left the company. Enzo and Cass have now split up. It's like, what are you going to do? And I'm hoping to God that... So I'm recording this on Sunday, right? And I've not seen Battleground yet. And there's a big rumour for Battleground knocking around at the moment. And it is that Sanity are going to debut on SmackDown and be the team that have been attacking Tyler Breeze and Fandango. Now, I'm hoping that is the truth, because with American Alpha gone, I think that SmackDown are going to need another tag team, and I think introducing Eric Young onto the main roster, Nikki Cross as well, I think it's really going to improve SmackDown for the better if they do, because they need another woman, because they lost two in the shake-up, didn't they? So it'd be good for that. Bringing Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane into the tag team division as well is very good, and Eric Young is another good single star they can push forward. So it would really strengthen the SmackDown roster up, but yeah, hopefully that has happened. If it hasn't happened, then I can't understand what they're doing, SmackDown, because SmackDown were so good for such a long time, and then all of a sudden the place is just starting to fall apart now, I'm afraid. It's not going well, is it? But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But tonight, of course, we do have quite a few interesting matches for you. We've got this one, of course, Tag Team #1 Contendership, Enzo and Cass versus Cesaro and Sheamus. The winners will face off against Time Splitters at the next pay-per-view. Also tonight, we've got a triple threat match involving the Cruiserweights. Of course, Mandrews won the triple threat match last week to be the first man, or second man now, inside the Fatal 4 ladder match at the pay-per-view, alongside, of course, the Cruiserweight champion Kushida. Tonight, we will add a third member to that match, between Matt Cross, Kota Ibushi, and another debuting Cruiserweight, which I shall show you when the match comes around. We've got Pete Dunne taking on a mystery opponent, again another debutant here to SWE. Later after that, then we've got Adam Cole taking on Zack Ryder, and we have got in our main event of the evening a triple threat match to become the #1 contender to the Octane Championship. We're going to see Kenny Omega, Hiroshi, Tanahashi, and The Rock in a triple threat match, so that'll be interesting. Cesaro now just tossing Enzo more around like he's a sack of potatoes. Not even a heavy sack of potatoes, a light sack of potatoes, because he's launching him. Stamping on the back of the arm of Enzo now, and have to stamp on his chest, but Enzo rolled out the way, but Cesaro's there, and running uppercut. And at this point in time, you feel like Enzo and Cass might have not really decided the best way of doing this. I don't think Enzo's going to enjoy this match too much, to be honest with you, because he's faced up against two big guys. I think the likes of Big Cass against either Cesaro or Sheamus could be a bit more even, but yeah, Enzo Amore so far has got zero dimes. He's got zero aggression at all, as Cesaro just continues the assault. But Enzo has managed to fight back and now does make the tag. He realises that he's fighting a losing battle, and now Cesaro... he's going to have to fight somebody's own size. And Cass launching Cesaro over his shoulder. Now, I know, of course, in real life, Enzo and Cass have broken up, but in my opinion, I'm going to keep them together as a tag team. I will use them a bit more in singles competition, don't get me wrong. I think that Cass having a run at maybe the upper mid-card belt could be interesting. And Enzo could definitely be involved in the Cruiserweight division at some point as well as Cesaro there. Very European uppercut, and all of a sudden looking to take Big Cass down straight away. Cesaro takes him up into a neutralizer. Wow, that's a very early neutralizer in the match. There's the pin. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Wow. Cesaro is not being paid by the hour. As you can see, he is going straight in to end this match as soon as possible. Now in comes a fresh Sheamus, and that's not a situation that Big Cass or Enzo really want, is a fresh Sheamus coming into the ring, is it? Only there for a 1 count though. Sheamus now big right hands right to the face of Cass and slamming him face first into the mat as well. And again, Sheamus just raining down the right hands. Brings Cass up to his feet. Sheamus, big neck breaker. A kick in the back. Now, of course, if you've not seen the episode of Mayhem a couple of days ago, definitely worth a watch. Of course, with the introduction of Carnage, it means that quite a few people have left the rosters, which means we've had some space. So PJ Tovey had 6 debutants on his episode of Mayhem a few days ago. It was a Mystery Vortex style as well, so definitely worth a watch. Of course, we've got a couple of debutants here this evening. And then even looking at the likes of Throwdown. Throwdown, I don't think we'll see any debutants on Throwdown until after the pay-per-view, which of course is coming up for you in, well, ended this week actually, the 31st is the next Monday. Is going to be our next pay-per-view, which is Throwdown Empire Strikes Back. Big Cass is really struggling here. Big boot though by Cass. Now for a pin himself on Sheamus. 1, 2, only a 2 count, but Sheamus rocked a bit there as he got caught by the big boot. Now Big Cass stalking Sheamus. Takes him up. There's the big slam. 1, 2, and Sheamus kicked out once again. Now in comes Enzo Amore. Can Enzo finish this one off, or was that a bit of a poor decision? That's the problem we've got here with, of course, with Enzo and Cass. Cass does the hard work, then Enzo comes in, and he's a bit of a weak link in the team. Enzo neckbreaker on Sheamus. Enzo climbs up top. The big splash on Sheamus as well. I wonder what Enzo's finisher is on his own. Does he have one on his own? I'm sure we'll find out moving forward as he goes on his singles run. I know that Vince is not a fan of Enzo though. Even though in my opinion Enzo was the main man in the team, really. He was a funny one. He was the voice. Cass might be able to do a lot of work, but I still don't think as a character he's really going to have much longevity to him. This feud as a heel against Enzo is good, but once this is finished and he goes on to something else, I just don't know what's going to happen. Sheamus went for the bro kick, but Enzo ducked out the way. But they need to fix this as well on 2K18. When the members of the tag team are the wrong way round in the finisher maneuvers like that. Big splash there by Cass. But Enzo completely missed Cesaro. And they've got to try and fix that as well. About people running past their targets. It's just the pathfinding and the AI is just not fantastic, is it? And it's a simple fix, I would imagine. I don't know. I'm not really a game creator. I don't know how simple the fix is, but I can't imagine it's too difficult just to have a little bit more intelligence, because it's almost like a lot of the time it's like somebody's played it and they're just replaying it, isn't they? Referee very slow down. Enzo with a pin. Oh, Cesaro's kicked out, but Big Cass did a fantastic job of taking Cesaro down. Sheamus kicked out, should I say. Sheamus now though running STO, flattening Enzo Amore. Sheamus now wrenching back in the camel clutch. Enzo Amore, can he survive this submission hold? He does manage to slide out the back. Difficult man to keep a hold of, isn't he? Enzo slamming the back of the head of Cesaro into the mat now, just stepping across his chest. Not really a lot of weight to cause damage, is it really? Running forearm there by Enzo. Taking Cesaro down. Enzo strutting around, not quite sure what to do next by the looks of it. It's not very often he's in a situation where he can dominate a big man like this. Oh, and we spoke too soon. Enzo goes flying there over the shoulder of Sheamus. Now Sheamus comes along and brings in the Swiss Superman known as Cesaro. Cesaro sends Sheamus into the corner. That's not Sheamus, that's Enzo. Can you tell I've just got out of bed? Can you tell? What on earth? So I've just got completely distracted by... That is the weirdest thing I've seen in my entire life. So I just popped up on Twitter that Alexander Kolarov has moved to Roma. But the way they've announced it in the video is really weird. Very European uppercut there by Cesaro. Sorry, that just really distracted me because it's like there's like a guy interviewing Kolarov who's just joined Roma, but behind him there's two guys that look very much like Eric Rowan in sheep masks, just staring at him, and it's just really weird. I don't know what they've done. Double foot stomp there by Cesaro and Enzo. That's freaked me out, that is. Cesaro front chance. We bring in Enzo back up to the Enzo blocking the suplex into a suplex of his own, showing his strength. It's normally Cesaro who showcases his strength, but Enzo taking control. Enzo completely misses the drop kick. Oh, and gets turned over into a sharpshooter. Middle of the ring. Can Enzo survive the sharpshooter? No, he taps out. And Cesaro and Sheamus are going on to the next pay-per-view to fight it out for the Octane Tag Team Championships against Time Splitters. And no surprises there, it was Enzo who got pinned. So Cesaro and Sheamus is the first time I've actually used them as a tag team in this universe mode, and I thought, you know what, I've not used them as a tag team, let's give them the opportunity to see what they can do, and straight away they've got themselves a tag team championship match now. What happened to the music? It shouldn't... I don't understand this game sometimes. You set things up. I've spent hours and hours and hours setting this universe mode up, and then it doesn't do what you tell it to do. It's a bit weird. I don't know sometimes. There was a big boot there by Big Cass. Didn't really get his boot up that high though, did he? That was the problem probably. He caught him very much in the chest rather than the face. And here was the end, you see. Enzo went for the drop kick, completely missed it. Cesaro gets up, taking Enzo down, rolls him through into the sharpshooter. And you see, Big Cass didn't come into the ring. I don't think he assumed that Enzo was in too much trouble. Cass is struggling himself, obviously, with the cut to the head, and eventually Enzo just couldn't survive any longer. There was the tap. And the victory for Cesaro and Sheamus. Like I said, moving on now to face off against Time Splitters. And the big thing as well with Time Splitters is Kushida is going to have to pull double duty at the pay-per-view. Of course, he is now the Cruiserweight champion and the tag team champion as well. So he's pulling double duty, which could be very, very difficult for him. Big win here for Cesaro and Sheamus. So here we go then into our triple threat match to join both Mandrews and Kushida inside the ladder. I keep saying inside. In the ladder match at our pay-per-view in a couple of weeks' time. First of all, in this match is going to be a man who debuted with Octane last week with a victory over Drew Gulak. This evening he gets a chance to fight his way into the Cruiserweight Championship pitch. Now, Ibushi is very much someone who, in my opinion, could very much be in many different parts of this roster. He could be in the Cruiserweight division, he could be in the European division, and he could also be in the main event as well. So first of all, he's going to get this chance here. Should he not take it, then you never know, there might be some more interesting opportunities for him moving forward. There's a lot of words on it. I'm going to have to have a drink after that. So of course he wasn't really used that often. PJ Toby had him on Mayhem, and he was used, but maybe not as much as what he possibly should have been on Mayhem. I don't think the Mayhem roster really suited him too much. There was a lot of big, older sort of wrestlers, and it's sort of... Ooh, his neck had a bit of problem there, didn't it? And yeah, I don't think Kota really managed to find himself a good spot, but here I think there's a lot of people he can face off against that will definitely be a good fight for him. Of course, second in the match is going to be Matt Cross, who earned his place here in Octane by defeating Juvi Guerrera at the King of the Cruiserweights finale. And now here he is, straight away an opportunity to get himself into the Cruiserweight Championship title picture. Just one triple threat match. Who knows? We've got another triple threat match next week as well. We've got Tyson Kidd, we've got Xavier Woods, and we've got Noam Dar. It's an interesting one. Him with a wild card one, I think, that one. And of course, that will give us all 4 members of that ladder match at the pay-per-view. And like I said at the previous match, it's going to be an interesting pay-per-view for Kushida, because after he's defended, or lost potentially, his Octane Tag Team Championships, then he will have to wrestle later on in the evening in a fatal 4-way ladder match to defend his Cruiserweight Championship. So it could not be Kushida's night, shall we say. Who knows? And the third man in this match making his debut in Octane is AR Fox. Or in Lucha Underground at the moment, Dante Fox. An incredible wrestler, AR Fox, but somebody I'm surprised is still walking, considering some of the stuff that he goes for. I've seen this man crash and burn many a time in independent shows, going for dives. Into the barricade and all sorts. It's not been the most comfortable position for him. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he can pull out of the bag here on his debut. He could potentially get himself straight in the championship picture. It's an interesting one, this, because all 3 members of this match are all very new to the roster. Over the last couple of weeks, all these 3 guys have joined this Octane roster, and one of them is going to get an opportunity, like I said, at the Cruiserweight Championship at the pay-per-view. Now, just to revisit something that happened a couple of weeks ago, of course, Marty Scurll made his debut in Octane and demanded not only gold, but he also demanded to take up his rightful place within the Bullet Club stable. Now, Kenny Omega said you can do that, however, there is no space in the stable. The only way to enter the stable is dead man's boots. So he's laid down the challenge basically to Marty Scurll to prove that he should be in the stable. But I suppose the ball is now fully in Skull's court now. There's an interesting start to the match here. Kota Ibushi being a bit clever, just taking a couple of seconds to just relax and let Matt Cross do the damage to AR Fox. This way with triple threats, the first couple of minutes are always a little bit crazy because all 3 guys are in the ring, and then when it starts to drift away, people start to crawl out the ring when they take a lot of damage. And I think the triple threat matches in this game, I would never use a triple threat match last year because they were awful, but this year they really have improved them so much. German suplex there by Kota Ibushi, taking early control, and Matt Cross is now the first man to slide out of the ring, allowing Ibushi and AR Fox to go at it singly. Ibushi with a quick cheeky pin, only a 1 count. AR Fox not wanting to lose his debut match that easily. Ibushi now locking in the head scissors. Fox rolls his way out. And a neck breaker there by Matt Cross. I think Matt Cross understands here that Ibushi could be the most dangerous member in this match for him. And Cross locking in like a Saturn's ring submission there. But Ibushi with a drop kick to the back of Matt Cross looked very painful there. Ibushi now, ooh, short, shallow brainbuster. And a standing moonsault as well. And Ibushi once again taking control of this match. Ibushi now heading up to the top. Likes to go for the Phoenix Splash, but goes to double foot stomp. Oh, I think he landed on his face as well. AR Fox with the Ace Crusher. But Fox, I thought he was going to go for the pin there on Matt Cross. Matt Cross pinning AR Fox. Only a 1 count. Yeah, I think AR Fox has actually done pretty well in Lucha Underground, hasn't he? I think they've given him a really good gimmick. And that's one thing that I don't think AR Fox has ever had is a gimmick. A lot of independent wrestlers don't do that. They rely more on their wrestling ability. And by putting him in Lucha Underground is, I think, AR Fox's first real attempt at having a gimmick. And as far as I believe, I've not got that far yet. Watching Lucha Underground. As far as I believe, it's actually doing him pretty well, I think. He seems to suit the role quite nicely. Gutbuster there by Matt Cross. And he went for a senton. I thought he was going to go for a standing shooting star. Went for the senton instead. And Matt Cross going into the ring. Remember, this is a triple threat match, so no disqualifications, no countouts. And Cross looking for a little bit of assistance. Does pick up the baseball bat, but drops it on the ground now. And he gets back in the ring, almost like he's changed his mind. Ibushi catching Matt Cross into a crunchy. I thought he was going to go for the pin, but climbed out of it now. Ibushi, the only man up on his feet. Moonsault on Matt Cross. Cross slides out the way, and AR Fox catching Ibushi, and I think Matt Cross and AR Fox might have to work together a little bit here to try and take down Kota Ibushi, who definitely seems to be the stronger member of this match. Matt Cross now taking control into that Death Valley neckbreaker. And it's very much a back and forth match at the moment. Oh, it was. Ibushi though taking Matt Cross up. Into the Ibushi bomb onto the baseball bat. Wow. There's the pin, and surely Matt Cross is not getting up after that. Kota Ibushi is going to the pay-per-view to fight out for the Cruiserweight Championship. My God. That Ibushi bomb and Matt Cross's head landed right on that baseball bat that him himself brought into the match as well. They'll have to get someone to have a check-up on Matt Cross backstage. I think that could have caused some serious damage. But Kota Ibushi, no surprises there. He is the man of the moment, and he will move on to join Kushida and Mandrews in that fatal four-way ladder match. Here it is. Look at this. Bang. Straight on the baseball bat. AR Fox was down on the outside. Matt Cross was never going to kick out of that, surely. And we have the 3 count. Kota Ibushi, great victory for him. He's taken Octane by storm now. 2 wins in 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on with HQ as well. And here we go then with our next match. Our next match of the evening. Our next match of the evening. And it is going to be another debutant here to the Octane roster. But first of all, the mainstay. Pete Dunne, the Bruiserweight. A man who had a tricky little bit of time recently at the beginning of Season 2. But since then, he started to build upon that. He had a good run in the King of the Cruiserweight tournament. He had a good victory there as well. He picked up a victory last week over Enzo Amore in a dark match. And now here he is on the main show again, looking to pick up some all-important ranking points. I want to push this man to the next level. I want to see Pete Dunne going for gold in this universe mode. If not the European Championship, then even the Octane Championship, I think, is at this guy's level. Even a sneaky Cruiserweight Championship run if things don't go too well for him. But this man is going straight to the top, in my opinion. A fantastic heel, a fantastic wrestler. But who is his opponent here this evening? Making his debut in SWE. It is, of course, Lord Steven Regal. Or William Regal, whatever you want to call him. We've gone for the old gimmick, though. I think it's good for this Octane roster to have another very strong legend of British and European wrestling, of course. And this match between Regal and Pete Dunne is a dream match that a lot of us have wanted to see, isn't it, really? And we are going to get the chance right now if Regal stops milking this. I can't believe they took Regal off the game. Like, Regal was on the game last year, and it just makes no sense, because, right, let me do a little bit of a comparison for you, right? last year, the game was released. William Regal and Billy Gunn were both on the game. At that point in time, William Regal was the NXT general manager. Billy Gunn was an NXT trainer. Midway through the run of 2K16, Billy Gunn was sacked from WWE for failing a drugs test. 2K17 is in production. Starts the roster reveal. Billy Gunn, the man who's been fired from the game, been fired from WWE for failing a drugs test, is still on the game. William Regal, is still an upstanding member of the WWE and the NXT general manager, is not on the game. If somebody could explain to me the reason why that happened, I would love to know. I really, really would. I can't understand why they've taken the NXT general manager off the game. It makes no sense to me. But there you go. I'm sure when 2K18 comes out, Regal should definitely be somebody who should be back on that roster. Easy as. Oh, straight away German? Scoop suplex, scoop slam. I'm still not very awake, am I? As you can tell. Pete Dunne, big knee strike to the face. The Bruiserweight starting things off strong. He knows he needs to because the experience of Regal here could be the difference between these two guys. Pete Dunne's got to use his virility. He's got to use his youth. He's got to use his energy to try and take Regal down as early as possible. Big German suplex there by Pete Dunne. And so far, Regal hasn't had a single bit of offense. Regal now tripping Dunne over into the choke on the ground. And again, this is just showing the experience now. Just getting Dunne grounded and then just trying to choke the energy out of him. And now starting to work on a body part. Regal now backing away to the outside, taking a couple of seconds to recover. It was a strong start for Dunne, and Dunne now back in control. Back elbow, taking Regal down. So, of course, don't forget we still have 2 more matches for you here this evening. Adam Cole takes on Zack Ryder. And then, of course, we have our triple threat main event. Kenny Omega versus Hiroshi Tanahashi versus The Rock. And the winner will go on to face off against Edge at the pay-per-view for the Octane Championship. Pete Dunne with a tombstone, now into a quesadora. I have seen before what Pete Dunne did in PWG. He's done it a few times before. He does a double tombstone. So he does a tombstone power driver, but then holds it, steps back up, and does a jumping tombstone. It's incredible. Regal, he has worked on the arm Regal for a little bit now, locking in that arm bar. Pete Dunne a little bit stranded right in the middle of the ring, but as you can see, he is able to roll through. But the damage may have been done to the arm of Dunne, or maybe not, as he goes for a gorilla press. Oh, just dropping Regal straight into the uppercut. There's the pin by Pete Dunne. 1, 2. And Regal kicks out, but there wasn't a lot of life behind that kick out, was there? I'm a big fan of Pete Dunne. I want to see a bit more of him in NXT. I don't know why he's not had that much time in NXT. I think he could be an NXT champion quite easily. Dunne now bringing Regal back up into a step up into Guri. And Pete Dunne taunting away now. Like I said, Dunne's had a tricky first month in SWE, but since the King of the Cruiserweight tournament, he seems to have really turned the corner. Got some good victories in that King of the Cruiserweight tournament. And now backing it up as well with some strong wins. Armbreaker there by Regal on Pete Dunne. Of course, Pete Dunne was actually part of a tag team as well in the UK indie scene alongside Mark Andrews called Flips and Forearms. So we might be able to revisit something along them sort of lines in the past. In the future, should I say. But at the moment, I think a match here against Regal is I tell you what, a tag team of Regal and Dunne would be very interesting as well, wouldn't it? I was thinking a bit of tag teams earlier, and Regal and Dunne look very good as a tag team. There's quite a few, isn't there, that we could really start to look to put together. Jack Gallagher and Lord Steven Regal would be a good tag team as well, wouldn't they? Dunne now catching Regal, looking for a dragon suplex, but Regal saw it coming and caught Dunne with a back elbow. Now a neck breaker there by Regal. Stomping on the chest of Pete Dunne. raking a boot across his face as well now. Can William Regal, or Steven Regal, whatever he's called, have a good debut here? He'd love to cap off his debut here with a victory over Pete Dunne. Put the youngster back in his place. Regal, oh, look at that maneuver there, just damaging the knee and the thigh of Pete Dunne, as well as Regal dropping a double boots right across the chest. And again, just looking to work on that leg. And that's a wise move. Trying to keep the stronger man down. Of course, Pete Dunne is a very strong unit. Very muscular legs, very good centre of gravity, which is why he can pull off some of the manoeuvres he can. So Regal, by working on those legs, is very much taking away a lot of Dunne's aggression, as Regal now stalking Pete Dunne. Dunne fighting back, catching Regal, takes him up onto his shoulders once again into a gutbuster, and a big kick in the back as well by Dunne. Brings Regal back up to his feet, and a step up into Guri once again. And Pete Dunne up on the turnbuckle, taunting the crowd again. I think he needs to concentrate a bit more on Regal. This could be a real defining victory here in Pete Dunne's SWE career. There's the pin. 1, 2. Oh, it's only a 2. It's so close to a 3. But of course, Dunne has been starting to pick up a few victories in a row now, so potentially he could have that momentum on his side. Here he is now into the flatliner. That could be game, set, match. Pete Dunne rolling Regal over. There's the pin. 1, 2, and 3. And Pete Dunne picks up a massive victory here over the debuting Lord Steven Regal. And that is a big, big win, that is, for Pete Dunne. Like I said, he seems to be going from strength to strength at the moment. Yeah, I think next month we're definitely going to have to look at giving Pete Dunne some sort of opportunity, looking at some gold, potentially. At the moment, I've already got the rest of the number 1 contenderships lined up. Of course, we already know Enzo and Sheamus and Cesaro are the tag team number 1 contenders. The Cruiserweight Championship tournament, Cruiserweight Championship qualifiers have been done already. Next week, we do have a European Championship number 1 contendership match for you between Cody, Daniel Bryan, Jay Lethal, and Christopher Daniels. That's next week's main event. So I think, yeah, moving into the next month, I think we'll definitely see something for Pete Dunne. I think I need to really give him some sort of opportunity, because at the moment, he's definitely proven himself to be a force to be reckoned with. This is a massive victory. Like I said, this win here for Pete Dunne, I think it could be a defining moment for him in SWE. The Bruiserweight Pete Dunne is victorious. And who will be next to stand in his way? So now then, time for our next match of the evening. It is going to be Adam Cole taking on Zack Ryder. And here we go. Now, I bet there's a few of you now thinking this is a bit of a weird match, but you got to remember that Zack Ryder is a former Intercontinental and United States champion, so I think it's important for him every now and again to get an opportunity to show what he can do. And you know what? I think in this situation, this could be a good match for him. Not quite sure whether... Ooh. Oh, wow. Mighty Scott attacking Adam Cole from behind with a baseball bat. Now, remember what Kenny Omega said earlier on. If Marty wants in Bullet Club, he's going to have to... Oh, my God. The only way in is through Dead Man's Boots, essentially. You've got to take somebody else's position in the stable. And at the moment, Marty looks like he's picking on Adam Cole. Cole not happy with it. He's in the ring. The two get face to face, and Adam Cole attacking Mighty Skull as well. Bizarre. I didn't see this one coming, you know. Marty obviously so desperate to be part of the Bullet Club stable. It looks like he's going to try and do that at the cost of Adam Cole here. But Cole has taken control of the situation. Slamming the back ahead of Marty into the mat, and Adam Cole in control of Mighty Skull now. Marty might be rethinking his decision to attack Adam here. Back elbow And the referee now blocking the two of them off. Mighty Skull escaping. And Adam Cole, I think he sent a message here to Mighty Skull. And we're going to have to move straight into our triple threat main event then. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kenny Omega versus The Rock. The winner will get Edge at the pay-per-view. And here we go. Now, interestingly, I've just managed to catch Kenny Omega backstage before he's made his way out here. And he's basically sort of said, look, the situation is for Adam Cole and Mighty Skull to sort out from themselves. So I'm going to announce it right now. At our next pay-per-view in a couple of weeks' time, which is going to be called Dead Man Boots, we're going to have Adam Cole versus Mighty Skull, not only for the position in Bullet Club, but for the position on the roster. It's a loser leaves town match. If Mighty Skull wins, Adam Cole will not only get dropped out of Bullet Club, but dropped from Octane. And vice versa, if Adam Cole wins, he'll keep his place in the stable and will have to say goodbye to Mighty Skull. So it's an interesting match, very interesting match. And like I said, that's going to come up for you in a couple of weeks' time at the Dead Man's Boots pay-per-view. But Kenny Omega, of course, didn't want to speak too much because he's got tonight's match in mind. He knows that a victory here against Hiroshi Tanahashi and The Rock will guarantee him a championship match one-on-one with Edge at Dead Man's Boots as well. So it's a very big pay-per-view for Bullet Club if this comes off. And of course, there has been a little bit of tension between Bullet Club and the New Day as well. We've seen an interesting sort of combination. Of course, we saw a couple of weeks ago, we had Kenny Omega versus Kofi Kingston. And of course, during that show, we saw we saw the Young Bucks actually attacking Kofi Kingston earlier in the evening before that match, and that led to Kenny Omega picking up quite an easy victory. So we have got another match scheduled next week where we are going to see the Young Bucks taking on Big E and Kofi Kingston as well. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But that'll be interesting just to keep an eye on. Just as a little side note, I know a lot of people want to see the Elite versus New Day feud. We've not gone all in with this feud, don't get me wrong, but still, I think we're going to have some pretty decent stuff coming out of it. And here, of course, is Hiroshi Tanahashi, one of the best wrestlers in the world. New Japan's John Cena, but a lot more talented. We're a little bit harsh on John Cena sometimes, I know, but I think John Cena is actually a good wrestler. You can't take away the fact that John Cena is a good wrestler. I just think that a lot of the time he's not given the opportunity to wrestle in the way that he might want to because of, obviously, the way that it works. I think I've said this before, a lot of research into the target market of WWE, which of course is younger children, as the target market of WWE. And one thing that they like is repetition, which is why if you ever watch programs like, well, kids programs, I've got two young nieces and a young nephew, and when you're around their house and you watch stuff like Peppa Pig and all that sort of stuff, there's a lot of repetition. And that is because kids enjoy stuff that they recognise, which is why John Cena has his 5 moves of doom. He uses the same moves in the same order every match, and that's because it's repetition. And as much as it's perfect for the target market, it frustrates people like us because all we see every week is the same thing over and over again. Whereas if you watch someone like, for example, I don't know, someone like Omega, for example, it's very, very rare, if at all ever, that you'll see 2 Kenny Omega matches that are very, very similar. Whereas with Cena, you can sort of preempt exactly what's going to happen at most types of the match. You can tell this is the part where Cena's going to turn it around. He's going to use his 5 moves of doom in order. And, yeah, it's frustrating, but I don't think it's his fault half the time, to be honest. And The Rock, of course, is the 3rd and final member into this match. And this could be very interesting indeed when these 3 guys collide. One of them, like I said, will get Edge at Dead Man's Boots for the Octane Championship. The other 2 will have to settle for obscurity until next month, until another opportunity comes their way. So a big, big chance. It's do or die, basically, for these 3 guys. Like I said, if If Omega loses, there might still be something for Omega available. We'll wait until it happens. So Omega versus Tanahashi versus The Rock. And we are underway. Again, another triple threat match. And I like the triple threat matches, as I said. They seem to have a better dynamic this year, especially. Last year, triple threat matches were just non-existent. I couldn't use them. I did like it last year. It wasn't too bad last year. Was it last year or the year before? Was it last year when they got rid of the match rules? Because that killed it for me. Because when you couldn't use elimination, we're going to have... Well, when we got Match Creator coming in the next game, we're going to have a lot of good match types, I think. Can you imagine having an 8-man... See, I don't know what sort of power you're going to have over the game. That's the one thing, in my opinion. It depends what sort of power you have over these creations. But judging by the fact they've created a whole mode for a creator match, I feel like there's going to be a lot of power involved. And if there's now 8 people in the ring at once... If I could have an 8-person elimination match where you have to be eliminated by pin or submission, I think that'd be fantastic. It might be a pretty damn long match, don't get me wrong, but still, it'd be a pretty cool match, wouldn't it? You think about it. An 8-man elimination match, or, like I said, if we could do Aztec Warfare, that'd be incredible. Aztec Warfare, 30-man match, enter just like they do in the Royal Rumble. However, the only way to win... The only way to be eliminated is not by over the top rope. The only way to be eliminated is by pinfall or submission. So I really want to see some more detail on this creator match type, because it does have a lot of potential if they allow us the power that we want. Granted, they may not allow us that power. It might end up being really, really basic, the creator match, but we'll have to wait and see as time moves on just exactly what we can do, because I would love to do an Aztec Warfare match one week. Kenny Omega with a pin there on Tanahashi, only a 2 count. Make a big chop across the face of Tanahashi, and The Rock just comes storming in, catching Tanahashi's way in the front chancery. Now into a neck breaker. Omega just taking a step back, just watching proceedings, trying to relax. But The Rock now catching Omega in the DDT. So, of course, we've already seen one triple threat match this evening, and that was won by the Japanese star Kota Ibushi. But in fairness to both Matt Cross and AR Fox, I think Ibushi is a step ahead of most wrestlers on this roster. And like I said earlier on, I think that the Cruiserweight division might be a little bit of a small pond for him, maybe. We'll wait until it happens. I reckon if Ibushi gets that Cruiserweight Championship, he could hold it for quite some time. The Rock now with a sharp shooter, and Omega trying to break it, and he does. All 3 guys back on their feet in the ring. Omega sending Tanahashi into the turnbuckle. Now into the snake eyes. Into the tree of woe, that's what I'm looking for. Omega catching The Rock with that jawbreaker. Went for that knee strike, but The Rock just stepped out of the way. That knee strike could have been enough to finish The Rock off, couldn't it, really? Omega dragging The Rock into the ring now. Up onto the shoulders. Rolled through. Into a stomp on the kneecap as well. And a standing moonsault on The Rock by Kenny Omega. Kenny-san, Omega-san. Into the moonsault as well. And a big kick in the back. Tanahashi now into the ring with a running forearm, taking Omega down. Tanahashi with a sling blade on Kenny Omega. One of his signature maneuvers. There's the pin, but The Rock's back up on his... What on earth? That just shows the poor pathing by the wrestlers sometimes. The Rock, instead of running towards the pin, ran onto the turnbuckle. German suplex there by Tanahashi on The Rock. And Tanahashi once again in the ring on his own with Omega. And Tanahashi goes up top. He likes the frog splash as a finisher maneuver. Oh, but Omega rolled out the way. Omega saw Tanahashi making his way up to the top rope and decided against being there when he came down. There's the pin, though, by Tanahashi. The Rock slowly getting up onto the apron. Wouldn't have been quick enough, though. The Rock has been a bit lackadaisical in this match so far, hasn't he? Really not really taken much advantage of some of the situations he's been given. Kenny Omega with a Hadouken. But Rock catching Omega into a rock bottom out of nowhere. The Rock with a rock bottom on Omega. There's the pin. Tanahashi's down. 1, 2. Oh, and Omega kicked out. I could not believe Omega kicked out. Rock now looks to... He needs to try and isolate Omega further, so taking Tanahashi out of the situation could be a wise one. Big clothesline in the corner, and Tanahashi rolling up the ring. Does The Rock have anything else to build upon with that rock bottom? He's going to go for another pin. 1, 2, and still the adrenaline kicks in, and Omega is able to kick out. That would have been a very interesting finish, that. Omega hitting Tanahashi with a Hadouken. Hadouken! I believe that's a reference to Dragon Ball Z, isn't it? I've never watched Dragon Ball Z. I was more of a Pokemon man. I'm absolutely gutted. I've been waiting. I was really wanting to do a Pixelmon series on my channel. If you don't know what Pixelmon is, it's a Pokemon mod for Minecraft. But they've been working on this mod for years and years, and I've been waiting for it to get to a point where I was happy to start playing it, and it was very, very close, and I really wanted to do it when I had a bit of spare time. However, Pokemon have just demanded that they shut the mod down, and you can no longer get access to it, so I'm absolutely gutted about that. Spinning neckbreaker there by Tanahashi on Omega. Into a Russian leg sweep. Tanahashi with a frog splash, and Tanahashi stalking The Rock. Omega's down on the outside. If Tanahashi can hit something big here, he might have this. Hook in the arms. Dragon suplex bridge for the pin. 1, 2. Oh, The Rock kicked out now as well. Tanahashi going up top. Are we going to see the frog splash, the high fly flow, I think it's called? No. Goes for a Phoenix senton, now into a pin once again on The Rock. Omega's back up on his feet. The referee's so slow to get down. Oh, Omega, that was terrible. That was terrible by Omega, but it does mean that Tanahashi is going on to face off against Edge at Dead Man's Boots. Yeah. Omega tried to break the pin, but Tanahashi was so intent on keeping it, he refused to break it. And it's Tanahashi versus Edge. Hiroshi, it's a good match. I like that, actually. I do like that. So, I've decided, by the way, that if it is a non-contest, like the last match was, then Zack Ryder is going to get points for that. Adam Cole's not going to lose any points, but Zack Ryder will get points. Because it's not Zack Ryder's fault. As far as he's concerned, Zack Ryder won that by his opponent not being able to compete. And there it was, a nice senton there, but you see Omega came into the ring, tried to break it, but Tanahashi was not going to hold. He was not going to break that pin. He knew he had a great chance to win that. I know I've absolutely tried to blag that so much, but it was terrible. I know it was terrible. But there we go. Hiroshi Tanahashi is victorious, and he is going on to Dead Man's Boots to face off against Edge for the Octane Championship. So guys, that's the end of tonight's episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. We've announced some big matches now for the Dead Man's Boot pay-per-view. We now know it's going to be the Time Splitters defending their tag team championships against Cesaro and Sheamus. We know Kushida will also be in a fatal 4-way ladder match against Mandrews, Kota Ibushi, and the winner of another triple threat match next week. We know it's going to be Adam Cole versus Marty Scurll for a place in Bullet Club and a place on Octane on the line. And it is going to be Edge defending his Octane Championship against Hiroshi Tanahashi. Next week, we will decide the European Championship #1 contender. We'll decide the Women's Championship #1 contender. And the final person in that fatal 4-way ladder match for the Cruiserweight Championship. So, of course, if you have enjoyed this episode, please do hit the like button and the subscribe button if you are new around here and you want to see some more. I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you all in a couple of days' time for our next episode of SWE Throwdown. Bye. The 1, 2, 3.